No joke, for years, my Awesome Art School members have been begging me to master pastels so that I can bring my expertise to them in the form of some really cool projects. For the first time since like 6 years, I am actually going deep on some new art supplies. The first one in line is oil pastels. Literally have not used these since 6th grade. Maybe 2nd grade. I don't even think I used them in 6th grade anymore. In this short series, I'm going to be teaching myself oil pastels, what they are, how they feel, what you can work with them, what can't work with them, and just what the heck. So we can get moving on some awesome projects afterwards. So enjoy, binge, and after oil pastels, I'll be moving on to soft chalk pastels. And after that, pan pastels. So many pastels in our future, but it all starts here on YouTube. I should also add that next week, I'm releasing a full real-time tutorial on my first project. It actually came out pretty well. So subscribe right now and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on next week's video. Alas, let the journey begin. I'm starting with oil pastels because they're sort of the unique one of the pastel family, and then I'm going to move on to soft pastels and pan pastels. So let's get this party started, shall we? I've had some of these sets for actually years. I think I got this one pre-COVID actually, so at least four years ago, and better late than never. Unbeknownst to myself, as I've been collecting these new boxes, and I have everything from cray-pas. This is what I remember playing with as a child, which is literally the last time I worked with them. I also picked up this set by Faber-Castell, since it's a brand I know, like, and trust in all my other art supplies. Mungio, I hear all the time artists using for pastels, both oil and soft chalk pastels. So I grabbed a set of these, and then this is actually the set I started with, which are insanely expensive. I sort of regret buying all of these because I just did a price comparison on Amazon since I bought all these so long ago. I don't even remember how much I paid. And actually, the cray-pas, Faber-Castell, and Mungio are pretty much all the same price for a pack of 24. And then when you get to the senneliers, those are like 4 times expensive. And depending on which 24 set you get, they're anywhere between $46 and $80 for 24, whereas these are just 10 or 12 for 24. So obviously I'm expecting, I don't know, something bananas to happen when I get to the senneliers. So I've done some YouTube binging, and I know some super rudimentary basics, like you need to have a paper with tooth. So I grabbed some watercolor paper, and I, Googled, like, is it okay to use oil pastels on watercolor paper? And the answer that I have discovered is yes, it is. Some people use pastel paper, which is like almost like well, it's just super textured. So I always just hear texture, texture, texture. So stay away from Bristol, stay away from hot pressed watercolor paper. And you don't need to treat your watercolor paper with gesso. You can if you want to, but you do not have to. So what I thought I would do is just start with this is like completely foreign to me. So I'm just gonna kind of start by like, I don't know, doodling, seeing how they feel. So I'm gonna do a feel test. I'm also, one of the videos was like, this stuff, oils are like super toxic, so you don't want to get them on your hands. You can use gloves. I'm gonna use gloves in a bottle. I've never actually used this before. I also am way too blind to read the fine print. I think I just put it on. I do have gloves also, but basically, yeah, you're basically, this way you're providing a barrier. I'm assuming I just put it on like lotion. Actually, I walked into Jerry's yesterday and they had this little thing on clearance, and I was like, that's weird, because that's literally why I'm here. So I'm gonna coat my hands because I plan to get down and dirty with these oil pastels right now. So I'm assuming I just like wipe it in, no clue, blah, 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 waterproof directions, wash, dry, working well, blah, 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 repeat every 4 hours. Okay, well, I want to protect my hands first so I can get in it. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, I want to also experiment doing this little guy as a project. Oh, that's so weird. I've never used this either. Oh, it's really like completely dry. Weird. That's super weird. All right, well, now I feel well protected, so there's that. All right, so I am gonna go in the same order that I did the pricing, and I'm just gonna do a field test and try to do my best to like just describe, I guess, how it feels, as for lack of a better, like, you know, way to compare them. I don't know. I'm gonna also try layering them, which I keep seeing people really getting into. Again, I haven't used these since I was a kid. All right, so right now, as I put this on, it feels a bit just like a crayon. So I'm gonna do a light application. I sound like I know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. And then I know you can also like do it really hard so it fills in all the textures. All right, this just feels, if you can imagine, close your eyes and imagine being 5. That's feels like it would feel like to draw with a crayon. So I'll just do some like a light color and then a dark color, just for funsies. Okay, and then this one has light pressure. So again, I'm letting the paper show through. All right, so far so good. I have nothing to compare it to, so I'm just gonna kind of go for it. So if that was the cray-pas, I guess I'm just gonna grab the Mungio next. Oh, weird mood today. It's very early in the morning. Look, I already stole my own white. I already lost it. At some point I grabbed a weight. Oh, I think I was doing a weight of everything comparison. So here again, I will grab like a, okay, these feel a little bit, excuse me, these feel a little bit smoother, just a little bit, than the cray-pas on first, kind of first go. So interesting. And again, I'm just going to do a light and then I will do a dark, because I'm going to try layering with a light on top of, oh, I guess that is a light color. Oh my God, I need more coffee. It's very early in the morning right now. I'm trying to push down as hard enough as I can to, yeah, this is smoother. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I am a new bee. So here we go. Let's learn oil pastels together. Another thing I do know about oil pastels is that you can't use them in mixed media unless they're the very top layer. I get a lot of blowback from people who are mad at me because I don't talk about oil pastels when I do my hamburger system, which is like my favorite layering way to do mixed media. And I have always known, just because I grew up actually finishing furniture with my dad, that you can't mix, oil and water don't mix. So you can't put an oil product in the middle of your acrylic or water-based mixed media project. It doesn't work unless it's the very last layer. So that is an option, but you have to, oh my God, I'm destroying this box. Sorry, I actually always toss the original packaging of my products, but I can't even actually get in here. Oh, sorry, sorry box. So you can use it in the hamburger, sort of. You can use it up to layer 4, and then you can end with oil pastels, but then you need to stop. You wouldn't be like putting you wouldn't put pit pens on top. You definitely wouldn't paint with acrylic on top. So you need to stop when you get to that part of the hamburger. So I am looking forward to using these in. All right, these feel exactly the same as the first two. Actually, this feels actually more like the cray-pas, interestingly, where they're a little bit harder to kind of put down. It's a really pretty color. And at first, I feel kind of dumb that I bought all of these because there's a lot of repeat colors. It's not really an I should have compared like a cheap one to an expensive one, but you know, I get over to Jerry's and my wallet just comes out and I'm just buying all the things. That's on me. I spent a pretty penny yesterday, most I've ever spent, and I came away with 3 small bags. I was like, what is happening? Oh, yeah, these feel a lot more like the Mungios, where they're like a little bit smoother, but not much, to be honest. Okay, but feels pretty the same. All right, these puppies, I don't even want to like try because they're so expensive. These are the oils. Sennelier. This is the Ferrari of all things. I do love the story of, it was Van Gogh. God, I hope it's Van Gogh. I need to fact check myself before I start touting things on the internet. Who asked Sennelier back in 1940 something if he would come up with a product so he could, when he was like out field sketching, he could do like a quick sketch because he worked in oils. So that's when these were invented. So it is kind of a neat feeling to know that you're working with an art supply that was only exists. You're using this only exists because a super famous artist in today's world specifically requested that it be invented. That's pretty cool. I gotta say, that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna just do a color and, oh, they are, just getting it out of the box was so soft. I just mashed my whole fingernail into it. Oh yeah, these do feel quite different. And they are actually quite smeary. I'm gonna actually zoom in a ton because, yeah, that is actually a ridiculous, like sensory, a ridiculously different sensory experience. And I could see how it easily kind of balls up. Really is little sticks of oil paint. I did take an oil painting class, an oil painting portraiture class in person a few months ago. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My teacher was amazing, but look how much I used already just from that little testy spot. Oh, I forgot to do my light one. Yeah, so I think you go through these faster. So you burn through the sticks and your wallet a lot faster by using these. Yikes. Just keep that in mind. And then here's a dark one. So my next test I'm going to do is to see what the experience is when I'm going to be blending these together. Like, just what does it feel like? Yeah, and these also, because they're so creamy, they fill in, oh sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing. You fill in these textures much more easily and quickly as well. So yeah, it's quite a different experience. I'm glad, because had I spent that 4 times as much, and then they felt the same, that would be really annoying. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put like a darker color over the light and vice versa, and then try blending with my fingers to see how easy it is to blend. And also because I'm sort of teaching, I am completely teaching myself how these work. You know, notice, is there a difference of quality, coverage, experience? Does one feel nasty? Does one feel ooh? And I will just share those with you as I go. Let's go. All right, so here we go. I'm going back to my cray-pas. I'm gonna put a dark color. I haven't even blended. I'm like so excited to blend stuff with my hand. Seen other people do it. So again, I'm gonna put like a kind of a darker on my darker. What I meant to say is I'm gonna push down on that one. What? Ooh. And this one I'm gonna do light touch as well. Because I don't have any experience, I don't know how well this is gonna work, how hard to push down. I really don't know. So I am learning as I do. I always get people that email me almost every day asking, can I do this? Can I do this? And I always tell them, like, if, you know, when in doubt, try it out. The only way I learned more than half the things I know is just by trying them. So, soup kind of really different there, actually. It's harder to tell on camera than you can in person, but this is almost like a brand new solid green color. But it's a lot patchier, putting the dark over light, which I remember watching from one video, but I wanted to experience it for myself. So that's interesting. I got all sorts of like crud on this one, so I'm just gonna wipe it off with a paper towel. It's kind of dirty, so I don't make a green mark the next time I go to use my yellow. And for the very first time, I'm so excited. Okay, Okay, this is what I see everybody doing, which is just mooshing it with your finger. I love mooshing graphite. Do I love mooshing? Also, oil pastels. Well, that's kind of lovely though, actually. That's quite beautiful. So, all right. Now we have so the dark base is a lot darker. It's a totally different green, which is cool to see. Ooh, that's kind of neat. You kind of like fade out the edges. Very different greens, same exact different colors. And this again, this was just where I would just want to see like how much pigment do I need to put on before I moosh it. So that I'm actively experimenting so that when I go to my first project, I will be like, I like it better when I push down hard every time versus when I do these light layers. Now, obviously you can do many more layers of light pressure and get different effects. But so far I'm drawn towards these ones where it's like solid, but that doesn't really surprise me. That's why markers are my favorite medium, because they're like immediate and dramatic. And that's kind of just my personality. Where are my Mungios? So same thing. I'm glad I did different colors for this test because I want to see what these different colors are going to look like. I don't really necessarily know. So here again, I'm going to use hard pressure over hard pressure, dark over light. One thing I see a lot of people doing too for the oil pastels is everything is color blending and layering and color blending and layering, and I'm like wondering, I'm always like, can you just not use like one color? Is that not a thing? Like maybe I'm just boring. Oh, those are just so pretty. Again, this is like super ick, so I don't know what to do with that. Do I mash it in or do I wipe it off? I guess the choice really is yours. Now I already have some of that on my fingers. I do feel really happy that I put that weird glove stuff on my fingers, because now I'm just not worried that the pigments are getting it. That's gorgeous. That is like solid, yummy. Yeah, I have a feeling this is gonna be the effect that I personally like. Okay, is pushing down hard. Yeah, I'm gonna be a masher, I think, will be my style. Another thing I want to experiment in, and I want to experiment very quickly, is what happens when you do an acrylic painted background, because this is exactly how I will end up using it in the hamburger, which is where you do acrylic painted, and then you can put some cray-pas, just because I'm using it. You can put some oil pastels on top. And like for blush, for example, I think that's gonna be my first experiment. Just like I use right now, I use like gelatos over. I mean, these are very similar to gelatos, except gelatos are water soluble and these are not. They use like the oil from your fingertips. But I mean, this is actually how I use gelatos. I don't ever use them with water. I usually just blend them with my finger. So very, very similar, except again, that you can't really follow it up with all the layers of sealant and everything. I've had people tell me that you can, but I would not recommend it personally. Like, I'm not going to layering Mod Podge. I've had people just tell me straight up, you can put Mod Podge over oil, but these oil pastels never dry. So it doesn't make any sense that you would be able to put a water-based product over the top of them without having some weird consequence. So I would not recommend it. I wouldn't. So you would stop at that layer, which is fine. And then you could use like a oil pastel fixative or varnish on top of that. But that would be oil based. I wouldn't use an acrylic or water based varnish or sealer on top. You would do oil because it would marry well with that. Now this one didn't cover as well at all. And I was thinking, even though this brown it's almost like it's removing it instead of mooshing into it. Interesting. It's like scraping off instead of blending in. So right now I'm actually least impressed with the Faber-Castell, which makes me sad for them because they're like one of my favorite companies, but I'm not loving the coverage and how that is working on either of them actually. So that's good to know. And either of those, yeah, look the least desirable. The cover of each layer on top was insignificant, insufficient, yucky, I guess would be a good word. So now I'm gonna try, last but not least, Senneliers. And I'm gonna do again dark over light and light over dark, just to see what happens. Okay, so when I'm doing dark over light, that's really pretty. It's almost like complete coverage. So this and this are the same color, but it just lightens it all up a shade. Interesting. Okay. Oh God, it's creamy goodness. Yeah, the difference in the feel, you can just feel the oil. Just like, it's such a different experience. Like that feels really wet to me, and all the other ones feel really dry. And this is by far, I have to push down the least hard to get that blending to happen. So that's also super cool. I'm just gonna reverse these colors. So these are the same two switched. It's almost like it doesn't, look how much is going down. It like doesn't want to do a light application. It's like, just put it all down. Oh, that's so yummy. All right, so basically we have, some of these are harder and some of these are softer. Not a significant difference in the inexpensive brands, and then a huge difference in the Senneliers. So yeah, this is creamy, dreamy, you know, wet, oily, and then these are not. The next test I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually add a little bit of medium to these to see how quickly we can get those like moving. If I introduce, I forget what I have. I have linseed oil and I have Gamsol actually. So I'm gonna try both and see what happens when I add that, and how well and quickly they move and kind of reactivate with those mediums. So stay tuned. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna use the linseed oil first. A little nervous about the fact that I can't find my normal, oil painting brushes. So I'm using sort of old retired brushes. So this is the linseed oil, which is actually how I use, what I use to clean my oil brushes. So this was the like the light application. So it's okay. Neither here nor there. I do like the fact that you can use these with oil paints though. I'm gonna use the same linseed oil on the heavier applications and just kind of seeing what that does. Yeah, that's definitely better, but then it's sort of washing away like the top layer. But you can definitely, it goes from, you know, dry to painterly very, very quickly. Good to know, good to know. Let's see how it works for our Mungio friends. I actually feel like this is easier. This is spreading easier, more easily. Interesting. With the Mungio than with the cray-pas. It's a little bit more uniform. See how this one was almost like melting it away and leaving kind of yucky underneath it, whereas this one was really, I felt like it was sort of melting it, which is not an insignificant difference. Cleaning my brush with my linseed oil. Jump to the faber-castell ones. I think so far the Mungios, oh, this one's barely doing anything. Definitely the Mungios so far are winning in the cheap category. This looks just yucky. Ugh. That is not improving anything. It's just sort of erasing what is there. I don't care for that whatsoever. Yeah, the Mungio is coming in first place right now in terms of cheap blendability, kind of coverage as well. So now I'll try using this with the Sennelier. I actually prefer it on the Mungio. This is sort of the same thing where it's kind of like eating through the top layer, which is not awesome. And the Mungio would just sort of spread it nicely. Fascinating. Super, super fascinating. Okay, so that's the linseed oil. Using that to clean my brush and putting that away. We have the Gamsol, which is a medium. And that's sort of also, now this is a very short bristled brush, and that is doing a much nicer job. Even though this is a way stiffer brush than what I was just using, it still doesn't scrape away the way that the linseed oil does. So, I mean, that's probably why the Gamsol is it was the medium of choice of my instructor, that's for sure. Some people use baby oil. I was watching some things on that, but it's like super not recommended. I think it's kind of like the same philosophy as like using hairspray, where you're like, I guess technically it'll work, but also it's super not an art supply. This also works better on the Faber-Castell, although it still is, instead of blending, it's more just like pushing it away. I'm wiping my brush off between each one as much as I can. And then I have this tool that's just kind of removing it. Oh, that's kind of lovely though. But also taking it away. And versus that one was more or less sort of blending them together. And last but not least, I'm gonna again clean my brush really well between each one. On a paper towel off to the side here. And then we have the Mungio, which again I think for me is winning. Oh yeah. That really like transforms it into paint. So yeah, for me, Mungio is passing the tests more than any of the other brands. I think even that one has kind of got like spread to bits. Good to know, good to know. All right, so my last test is going to be how well does, I'm gonna use the white of each brand and make a mark on top. I really wanna see if I go to make my highlights with a white oil pastel, if it's gonna cover on top. And again, half of this might be a really obvious something, be like, of course it'll sit on top, but you have to remember, I have not worked with oil pastels ever. So I don't know, like, how do I need to push down? Do I do a light mark? I genuinely don't know. So I'm gonna get my whites and just do a little quick test on all of them and see, do they just sit on top? Is it gonna blend into it? I don't know. So we're gonna find out. All right, so for the cray-pas, where'd it go? I'm gonna do a white of the brand that I'm testing, and then I'm also going to try using this Holbein. Holbein is a super fine art product, and seeing if that works. So again, I bought 5 Holbeins yesterday at Jerry's so that I would always have a white, because I know the white is like the most common thing if you're gonna lighten up things or add highlights or brighten areas. So I bought a couple extra. So okay, so this is the cray-pas white, which going on it is not a super strong highlight, and maybe that's normal, I have no idea. But no, you can't really see it all that well. It sort of just blends in. but it doesn't, it's not remarkably white. And then this is the Holbein. Is there any difference? Because I'm not paying Holbein prices if it's not gonna like give me, yeah, it's kind of exactly the same. So this is why we test. Like, we don't buy the most expensive whites, Karen, because there's no reason to, basically. All right, so I'm putting back my white cray-pas, and then I'm grabbing my Mungios. I did go and find my Mungio white that I had stolen from myself. So I'm assuming this will be about the same, yeah. But I'm also glad I'm testing different colors, because maybe, oh, I can see it more on the purple than on the red. That seems to cover more than the cray-pas. This is just blending. So maybe that's like Holbein might be like Sennelier, where it's so soft. Doesn't feel as soft though, because I'm pushing down really hard with this paper towel and it's maintaining its shape. So I feel like every brand is going to be a little bit different. Oh, so that test is done. Return that puppy to its home. Then I need to find my Faber-Castell set, which I lost. All right, here's my Faber-Castell. This is just actually scraping off. So these are, I feel like these are the hardest ones. It's not even good, nothing. It's like no white coming off of here. It's actually working like a scraping tool. Can you see that it's like perfectly yeah, this same too. This is really working like a, maybe I'll have to stay on to using this really soft like Senneliers, because this is just removing the layers under it. Even the Holbein, yeah, too soft. Interesting and not good. This again, kind of just a scraping tool. Huh, that scares me because I don't know. That was the Holbein again. This is the Sennelier. Okay, this is sitting on top. This is the first one that I've used of all 5, including the Holbein, where the white is properly like going on top and it's more opaque. So yeah, because there's a reason why this one is so expensive. And again, the second best one is the Mungio. So, I mean, I did learn a lot, which is like, covet thy Mungios and don't buy the cray-pas or the Faber-Castell. Sorry, guys. And if you can afford to, even if you just bought the white Sennelier, I definitely shouldn't have bought 5 of the Holbeins. I feel like that was a waste. Oi, test before you buy. Learn from my mistakes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. All right, well, the last thing I do really want to really quickly check. I bought these tools. Swatching some of Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, everyone knows and loves, and she has these like these kind of silicone shaping tools, and I got to give these a go before I leave. So I just want to see. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't think you use them like a brush. But I think there's like a blending capability. I have no idea. Why do you have these? I don't know. They were used in some videos. I guess that did help to blend it. And I also, people were using just like Q-tips a ton, and also just like blending stumps. So I'm also gonna give those a try, because again, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, that definitely blends. And then you could spare your fingers. Actually, that blends really well, which I remember, I forget which video I was watching, but okay, that works super well. And then it's not as smooth as if you use your finger, but it definitely like incorporated those colors better. This is kind of patchy when you use your finger. Also could be how much I had. So that was when I had the light on the bottom. And I think because when you're, I think because when you're applying pressure, you're basically moving the top layer, which is what's exposing the light underneath. So, okay, that makes sense. To talk this all out for myself. So the Mungio also, yeah, that does work really weirdly well. I like that. And here's the lighter ones. Oh, it actually works even better when you have the two light layers. Huh, who knew? Discovering so many things. But now I know when I go to do a painting, I won't be scared to try these. Yeah, that works really well. Huh, it kind of like, but it like, you notice it like erases the white, so that's not good. I don't quite understand these things. I guess you can moosh them that way, and I bought tons. I don't even know what I was thinking. Whoa, these don't actually do anything, so I wasted a lot of money yesterday. I will use these on other things, but I don't think I will use these on my, oh, there's a little bit of a, they're too soft to withstand the like amount of pressure that you need to do to actually move this stuff around. Fascinating. Oh, here, I just took my color and now I'm mashing it into here. I literally don't understand these tools. I'm not gonna lie. I know that you can scrape up the front layer to get to the bottom. Ooh, that's really fun though. Oh, that's a yes. See that? So that I could see how you could do like animal fur. This is just this, I don't know what these are called. They're actually used for making polka dots. Like you add paint and then you can dot, 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 dot. Lucy, my best art friend Lucy Bryden, just introduced me to these, and I just bought a whole bunch of these yesterday too. I like definitely did my job in supporting my local economy yesterday. Oh, that's actually addicting. Wow. That's really obnoxiously fun. Okay, that's that's like exhilarating. Is that a weird word? That's so fun. I have a bigger size. I'm gonna try down here on my Faber-Castells. Oh yeah, that works awesome. I can just imagine doing like hair, and then you could like carve in, oh yes, carve in some of the hair strokes. That would be so fun. Whee! Especially if you had a lighter color. All right, before I go, that's what I'm gonna try. If you had like a lighter color at the bottom, which is what we had up here. Oh, this was a darker, I can't remember. Okay, so that does not work. Does this work? Okay, so you have to start with a light color. And then when you use the little polka dotting tool, it scrapes away the top color, and then you can get those strands. I'm so using this for hair. That is really neat. All right, well, I have no clue if you stayed through though. I probably lost everyone on like minute 2 because this is so boring, but I'm genuinely teaching myself how to use oil pastels so that I can come up with some really fun creative projects for my students over at our awesome art school. I'm just a dumbass. That's just me being a dumbass. I've never used one of these things before because when I work in graphite, I want a dirty blending stump, but I bought some blending stumps that I'm gonna use like dedicated to pastels. And so I do know, finally, I get to use this little file to quote unquote clean them, but really it's just also spreading them around. So I'm not sure if that's gonna work either. But maybe it'll just get softer because it does roughen it up and make it softer so that they'll blend better. And blending stumps are so cheap, it doesn't matter that much. But I guess I could also just have another piece of paper where I'm like wiping off the excess onto my paper. Well, I have to say I learned a ton, and my next stop is gonna try this in a hamburger process. So subscribe to my channel because I'm gonna be doing that next week and you'll never miss a video. I will see you then. And in the meantime, if you don't know what the heck the hamburger system is, click this playlist on your screen right now and you can go watch and explore and see what the heck the buzz is all about with the hamburger. Bye.